Hello and welcome to the Request for Quotation template. I'm Philippe and I'm your guide for this template. The team at Procurement Tactics has over 20 years of procurement and negotiation experience, and through it all we have wanted to share with you a template for Request for Quotation. It is something you often find in procurement and something we are sure you'll find quite useful in your procurement endeavors. So let's dive right into it. Let's first answer the question of what a Request for Quotation is. A request for quotation, also known as an RFQ for short, is a formal document issued by a business organization to gather price quotes from suppliers about specific goods or services. The contents of an RFQ include an outline of detailed specifications, quantities, and terms that allow vendors to submit competitive bids. The RFQ process is valuable as it provides the requesting entity with the necessary information to compare suppliers with each other and pick the best one based on varying criteria. I say varying criteria since price is not the sole deciding factor in selecting a supplier, and other factors like cost, quality, and compliance with requirements are also important to note. Another important thing to note is that while the quotes received are not legally binding contracts, they also serve as a basis for future negotiations and eventually a purchase order issuance. Now that we know what the basics of an RFQ are, let's break down how the RFQ process goes. We'll guide you through each essential step of the RFQ process, starting with the preparation and requirements definition. First and foremost, it is crucial to conduct a thorough analysis of your requirements. Any good RFQ has a foundation of good research and analysis, so don't skip out of this step. Clear definitions of specifications, quantities, and quality standards of the products and services are expected from this step. It's also advantageous to involve relevant stakeholders and ensure that you have a comprehensive outline for this step. Based on the research and analysis that you have done for this step, you should be able to establish a detailed budget. This budget will guide your procurement decisions and help you in your vendor evaluations as well. Next comes the actual drafting of the RFQ. At this time, ensure that it includes all key details that suppliers need to provide accurate and competitive quotes. Start by clearly defining the project goals and timelines. Pricing expectations, including FCA, DDP prices, and the breakdown of component costs, should be explicitly outlined to facilitate straightforward comparisons between quotes. A standardized price template should be included to maintain consistency in submissions, making it easy to evaluate the responses. The RFQ must also cover essential information such as project objectives, key deliverables, vendor qualifications, and any specific compliance requirements. This comprehensive approach ensures that suppliers have a clear understanding of the project scope and can tailor their bids accordingly. Additionally, consider including growth bonus proposals which can incentivize suppliers to offer better terms for increased order volumes. By covering these elements in your RFQ, you establish a solid foundation for an efficient and effective procurement process. Next, on the RFQ process, now that the RFQ in itself is finished, is the issuing of said RFQ. Through an open call or inviting pre-qualified vendors, a potential supplier must be carefully picked. It would be better to aim for a manageable number of participants, and for this with around 3 to 8 being a good number. This makes it easier to facilitate an effective evaluation. Note that you should ensure that suppliers have had an adequate amount of time to prepare and submit their quotes. This leads to more thoughtful and competitive bids, which benefits everyone involved, especially you. For this stage, you have all the supplier bids, and now you must evaluate which supplier best fits your needs. For this, you need clear criteria for evaluating the quotes. Your criteria should include things like price, quality, delivery timelines, and vendor reliability. All participants should be informed of the criteria for the sake of maintaining transparency. Now, when it comes to reviewing submissions, they must be compared based on the established criteria and not rely on price alone. Be very careful to consider factors like vendor experience and customer services. The aim is the best overall value and not the lowest price. After a preferred supplier is selected, negotiations can begin. Negotiations are for finalizing details like pricing and delivery schedules, but it's also an opportunity for you and your supplier to work together and make the best value for your agreement. The final stage of the RFQ process is a performance evaluation. With the agreed standards between your organization and the supplier, you must now compare how well your supplier held up their end of the bargain. This not only provides valuable feedback for future RFQ processes, but also helps improve your relationship with your suppliers. With all of these steps finished, your RFQ process will be as efficient and as effective as possible. A well-structured RFQ process ensures that you not only make better and more informed procurement decisions, but that your supplier relationships are forged with strength. All of this is to say that your organization will end up thanking a well-structured RFQ process for its future successes. Your RFQ process hinges on a very important document, and that is the RFQ itself. We wouldn't leave you hanging high and dry, so we have ensured that you have an actionable template to personalize with you as you please. Now here's how to use this actionable template. To begin, you will need to fill out the basic supplier and project information at the top of the template. Start by entering the name of the supplier you are requesting the quote from. Next, fill in the requester's name, which should be your name or the name of the individual overseeing this procurement. The RFQ title should be descriptive, and you should assign a unique ID to this RFQ for easy tracking. Enter the date on which you are issuing the RFQ, followed by the deadline for receiving proposals. Lastly, provide the contact details of the project lead, including their email address and number. Now, let's move on to the core of the RFQ, the item details. In this section, you will list the specific items or materials you are seeking quotes for. Begin by assigning an item number or quote for easy reference. Then, enter the material code or name, followed by a brief description. Specify the quantity of your require and indicate the expected delivery date. Pricing information is crucial, so make sure to complete this section accurately. For the FCA DDP price, enter the price based on the chosen Incoterm. If applicable, break down the component prices into categories like packaging, raw materials, and other relevant costs. Finally, don't forget to fill in the material group, plant, and storage location information to ensure that the supplier knows exactly where to deliver the items. If your RFQ includes a growth bonus proposal, make sure to detail it in the final column. To help clarify how to use this template, here's an example. Suppose you are requesting a quote for card boxes. You should enter PKG123 as the material code and describe it as the cardboard boxes. You might need 5,000 units with a delivery date of 15th of September 2024. For pricing, you could list $2.50 as the FCA DDP price. And if there are component costs such as $1 for cardboard, 50 cents for ink, and $1 for other materials, you would note these as well. In the growth bonus proposal section, you might include an offer like a 2% bonus for a 10% order increase per quarter. This example should help you visualize how to fill out the template accurately. Now you know everything that there is to know about the actionable template. If you find that there are certain sections you might want to change or enlarge, then it's editable for a reason. The best you can do is guide your procurement needs. In the end, your company and the industry can shape how you need your RFQ, which is why we have ensured that you can personalize it how you see fit. And that's a wrap for the request for quotation template. If you'd like to learn more about procurement or simply want to find ways to make your life as a procurement expert easier, check out our procurement courses and procurement templates. We include actionable templates like the one we have given you here to ensure that your procurement remains smooth and efficient.